So what I would like to do now is talk through our challenge statements. And Martin, if you could bring up the slides, and then Leon, could you lead the way and please talk around our first challenge statement, which is retail and SME banking, please. And if you could just talk a little bit around YTS and how that is applicable to this challenge statement. Martin.
Yes, thanks, Helen, and thanks for having me. And I'm Leon, leading the Yacht Technology Services business, so a open banking provider, which actually have been leading from the start. And that's also why, as YTS, we're very thrilled to be part of this Appathon, because having been leading open banking from the front, being the first to connect to an API in the UK, we now feel we need more parties to join this effort and actually propel open banking into open finance. So that's really where this Appathon can really help. And if we look at the challenge statement, so I'm speaking about retail and SME banking then. So there's a lot of value that can be delivered in this space through open banking and open finance. And some of the examples that are given in the challenge statement is, for example, enriching customer loyalty with value-added services powered by this data. And an example is here, what we already see coming up in the market is subscription management, for example, where users can easily see what bills they are paying every month and if actually those are bills that they want to keep paying or actually ever signed up for. Next to this, there's improving transaction controls and compliance monitoring, where again, the power of this data, open banking data, transaction data can really help in reconciliation, but also in compliance and KYC monitoring, which almost every day now we have some kind of KYC case anywhere around the globe. If you then look on the payment side, there's innovative card issue services that can be implemented, such as international card usage, as we see some examples in the market already. And especially close to my heart is the improvements in the personal finance management space, where personal finance management can also, based on open banking, really enhance how people and consumers interact with their money. And we have some clear examples there as well as to how can a PFM app show customers how they're spending their money and then help them save little bits, little steps at a time, especially in these current hard times with furloughs probably ending soon as well. And then finally, in this space, the payments options. So more effective payroll services could be developed on the payment initiation APIs, but also for SMEs struggling with online payments, having a high cost PIS could be a very viable alternative. So all in all, I think a very challenging and nice area for APIs to play in, and I'm sure that we'll see some great use cases in this space. And on the payment side, I would like to then hand it over to Louisa Murray from Railsbank.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Helen, for inviting me here today. Fundamentally, Railsbank, we believe that any company can be a fintech. And what's more, we also believe that consumers and SMEs will buy financial services from the brands they trust within a familiar and timely customer experience. And I'm head of customer experience here at Railsbank, so everything under sales, customer success and marketing. And we basically enable any type of company or individual to conceptualize, prototype, launch and scale and operate any type of financial product on the Railsbank platform. And they can also embed these financial products into their own customer experience using our very simple APIs. Okay, and we have sandboxes, we have a play live environment on our website now, which I hope everyone has already tested and literally can do real payments within a couple of minutes on our platform. So I've been with Railsbank for a number of years, so from the beginning. So I've seen many customers. So basically for the first couple of years, I spoke to every single customer. It was just me. So I've got a really good breadth of knowledge on the different use cases that we've got, and especially those that work with the payments here. So enhancing online or in-app payment experience with low cost, instant money movement that drives conversions and reduces chargebacks. So we've got a number of customers who use our banking as a service APIs, also our cards as a service APIs. I've got some new customers that are doing dynamic CVV changing and things like that, which is something that really will reduce the chargebacks and the fraud. Delivering faster cross-border peer-to-peer and direct-to-merchant payments. Again, we've got a number of customers in the UK here in Europe that one of them is actually called Rewam, and I can ping some examples over after this, that use bank for these kind of services, that have different bank accounts set up in for remittance and things like that in Asia, and really deliver a great and instantaneous experience. And then applying AI and ML to payment fraud detection. So actually within the Railsbank platform, we have transactional monitoring as well in real time. So everything that flows through the platform, we can see, and we can set rules around the type of transactions and the profiles of your end users. So really excited to see what happens. I'm always about solving a problem. So I think if we can get some really good examples of problem solving here, that's stuff that really excites me. And over to Ryan.
Thank you, Louisa. So I'm Ryan from Finastra, and Finastra, for those of you who may not have heard of us or know of us, we provide core banking systems to about 8,500 banks across the globe in many different lines of business, whether that's retail, corporate banking, payments, treasury, capital markets. And along this journey of open banking and open finance, Finastra has been opening up these core systems that the banks use via APIs, so that the ecosystem of FinTechs can actually start innovating and accessing data and capabilities easily that they can sell through to banks. So I'm going to quickly touch upon the corporate banking challenge category. And it's really exciting to actually have corporate banking involved as a category, because you're starting to see already innovations and user experience enhanced within retail banking, and also in kind of SME business banking, but also corporate banking as you could say, an underserved market where the user experience may not be the best at the moment, but it is certainly improving. So some of the challenge statements we've got are looking at how do you improve user experience from simple to complex transactions. So that could be things like cash management in corporate banking, but it could be all the way up to trade and supply finance, or even looking at syndicate lending as well, and how you can improve that experience for corporate treasurers and relationship directors in corporate banks. You can also look at how do you start to enable easier processes by adding in features like mobile authentication. So how can you actually make corporate banking more mobile and not have to be at a desk? And then the last category that we've got there is looking at how can you use analytics to improve the way that either corporate treasurers manage accounts, or companies can explore their accounts. So looking at how do you manage liquidity, exposure, risk, your portfolio when it comes to corporate banking. And I would say probably for all of these challenge categories and the challenge statements we've been talking about, these aren't an exhaustive list. We're actually very excited in the Open Finance Appathon to see what other pain points people find and solve for. So I'm now going to pass back over to Helen to cover Open Finance for Good.
Ryan, thank you. Thank you very much. You can see that on your screen. So what I want to do now is give a huge shout out and do everything I can to encourage people to look very carefully at this category. For those of you tuning in from the UK, we're waiting for an announcement from Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, around whether we're going back into lockdown. I'm in local lockdown as I'm talking to you now. So what I would love you all to do is to think long and hard around how you can use your talent, your very, very smart minds to support the economy and to help us get through COVID. Now, what I will do, Lou, is just reference, if I may, Lightning Aid. OBE ran a program right at the beginning of COVID, if you can cast your minds way back to March, and around OBE Heroes. And Railsbank launched Lightning Aid from idea to App Store in 8 days, just phenomenal. So my shout out is for this category is to have that same pace, that same innovation and inspiration just to help us all get through this dreadful time of COVID. So please have a look at that challenge statement, and anything you can do to be inspired would all be wonderful. And I'm actually quite looking forward to having a look at all of the entries, particularly that one.